Hi, I'm Rick Van Ness. Do you want your kids to learn how to save and invest wisely and not get ripped off? Well, they don't teach this in school, so here's what I did with my teenagers and the unexpected outcome. My son was 15 and I wanted him to start thinking about careers that might interest him. Also, get a concept of what companies do and learn a little bit about what stocks are and investing. I had this great idea and now it's 14 years later, so I'll tell you what worked and what didn't. First, how to make it interesting to them. I gifted $1,000 to each of my children to invest in any way they liked. The money was theirs, but they could only use it for an adventure that they wouldn't otherwise do. So they couldn't buy a car with it or something mundane like that. The year was 2000. I thought this was a pretty good idea. Stocks were in the news and were setting record highs. I had visions of my kids flipping through the annual reports, thinking about possible careers that might interest them. My son chose to invest in Advanced Micro Devices, Cisco Systems, and WorldCom. 14 years later, the stock market is again setting record highs. I'll show you his surprising results with his permission. We were all pretty excited about the internet in the year 2000. The price of AMD went up, and so he sold all but 2 shares to buy 8 shares of Cisco. Those 2 shares later split and became 4 shares, which he just now sold for a grand total of $15, less the $10 brokerage fee, or $5, and an overall loss of $70. He just sold his 8 shares of Cisco for an overall loss of $356. Well, where's the WorldCom? That's long gone. When there's a bankruptcy like this, the first claims to their assets go to employees and vendor invoices. The next in line are the bondholders. Common stockholders are the last in line, which was pennies in this case. The other day I asked him, what lesson did you learn from all this, if any? And he replied, investing in individual companies is high risk. That's okay. That's a pretty good lesson to learn. Was it worth the price? Would a book have worked better? On my website, I list my favorite books for beginning investors. That would have been a lot cheaper, but you have to be ready before you can learn from a book. Even back then, I was an advocate of low-cost mutual funds. Why didn't I encourage them to do that? Well, honestly, this was more of a teaching device than an actual investment. I felt that mutual funds are more abstract than owning individual stocks. On the other hand, $1,000 was enough for a minimum investment in some mutual funds. Admittedly, if they had done that and held on to them until today, they would have more than doubled their money. What are your ideas? What would have worked for you and your family? What other techniques teach common sense investing and differentiate it from speculating and gambling? We'd love to hear from you in the comments below. Please join us. Thanks for watching.